Okay, so I have a lot of stuff to talk about in this video. And before I get into this video, I want to give a very deep and serious disclaimer before I start this video. If there's anyone that watches this video that is depressed or suicidal or is hating life or is in a very bad predicament in life right now, you're in some kind of turmoil or something, I would advise not watching this video. I would highly advise not watching this at all. If that's the way that someone feels out there. But the reason that I'm doing this is because I don't want to be responsible for the way that someone else feels and from me venting what I have to vent as a person, because I have fell back into a very dark place in my mind, my thoughts and everything. I fell back into one of my depressions, one of my just very bad places. And it doesn't take much for me to get in those places. It doesn't take much at all. And what got me there is what I was talking about, 2.5 weeks ago. I relapsed and did something, for the first time in like 2 years. And that just took me on a downward spiral into hell itself. And I'm saying this as a disclaimer to not watch this if you're someone in a bad place, because I don't want to make anybody feel worse than what they might already feel. It's a disclaimer of me just simply saying that it is going to be me venting about things that I don't even want to vent about. I don't even want to talk about this stuff. But what I've done to myself is I brought that metaphorical demon back into my mind. I brought it back, and it manifested itself into me staying quiet and keeping this to myself. And I've been holding on to this for about 2 weeks now. I've been keeping it inside of me, and I haven't done any videos on it. I did one video and I talked about it somewhat, but I haven't really been talking about how I really feel about a lot of stuff. And I just don't want this energy to get transferred, because see, this is how energy works in this world. The way that you're feeling, that can transfer into other people. But see, I have to vent. And really, what I need to do is I need to either go to a therapist or a counselor, or I need to go somewhere where I can talk with someone that is not having severe mental problems and is having things go on in their life. I need to talk with someone that is not going to get worse by hearing what I'm saying, but who knows? It could make them worse. You know what I'm saying? You just never know when you're talking about something. I never know what it's going to do to someone else out there. But see, the thing is, though, this is just me simply, speaking about what I need to speak about and just getting it off of my chest. And sometimes I even tell myself, well, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't even let it be known. Don't even put it out there. Don't do anything, because what is the point of doing it? What's the point of doing it anymore? And see, this is how I just start saying, well, what's the point? What is the point of me even doing a video? And it gets very, very scary. It gets very scary for me, because my mind is doing something that my mind does, that my brain does on its own. And I have been trying to wean down off of the medication I take. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get off of medication again. I really don't, because when I get off of it, it's too much. I can't even get off of it. I was just weaning down, and it's like I start having these just suicidal thoughts. I just start worrying about everything. I start caring again about everything. I start getting attached again to things. It's like, as bad as I don't want to talk about this, and I don't want to let this be known, it's something that I have to do, because if I don't, it's just going to stay with me. It's going to stick with me, and it's just going to germinate into this thing that'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And before I know it, just like right now as I'm speaking in this video, it has turned into this mountainous thing again. It has turned into this ball of worry, this ball of just everything. I mean, it's like obsessively, compulsively thinking about things that I really have no control over, but yet my brain and my mind is thinking about it. And this is why sometimes I ask myself, I don't know if this is some kind of like bipolar depression with obsessive compulsive behavior, or it's some kind of, I don't know. I'm not in denial of my symptoms. I might be schizophrenic. I might be having bipolar schizophrenia. I might have something, because my thoughts don't stop. I can't stop thinking about people and places and things that I might have done in the past, or things going on in my life right now. And I'll watch people, and I'll be crying for them and weeping for them, and I'll be feeling sorry for them. And it's just so many things. Like, what I think is happening is the medication that I take, it suppresses a lot of my feelings and a lot of the things that are going through my mind, and it's suppressing those things a lot. And then when I'm not taking the average dose that I usually do, and I get down to a very low dose, my mind is on overload. It's just all these thoughts are coming back again, and all these feelings and emotions and worry and thinking about things. And it just, I cannot explain to you these last 2 weeks how depressed I have been. It has not been good. It has not been good at all. It has been one of the worst 2 weeks that I think I have had since my brother died 7 years ago. I think this has been maybe worse than that. Maybe worse than that, I can't lie. And I have a couple things that I want to talk about, and I am to the point in my life where, what is the point of hiding anything? What is the point of now? I will say this though. I think there are some things that I have to keep to myself. I just don't want to say everything, that's on my mind. But you see, I have a guilty conscience. But then again, that's kind of my mind playing tricks on me, because even though I talk about being compassionate and caring and stuff, I overdo it, you know? I overdo these things because, like I said, I'm very obsessive compulsive. Like, I think that I'm somehow supposed to help people to somehow save them from their circumstances, or I'm supposed to see. This is what I thought years and years ago, is that I thought that I was going to be the one to save my family. I thought that I was going to be the one to come to the rescue and get everybody off of drugs and to save them from, you know, their drug addiction and all this stuff. And I mean, it's a lot more things than this. It's not just this. This is just one thing out of thousands of things that I could be thinking about at one time. And this is just how my brain is. And I would tell everybody, you know, you might see someone that you say, man, how can you do this or that? And you know, like someone that you see that might be someone that can play the guitar really good, or someone that's a philosopher, and they're telling you all these things and they have all this knowledge. And people that have you know, talent and a gift with something, with music or art or something. But see, what people don't see is it's the gift and the curse. And see, most people, they have no idea how bad the curse side is. They have no idea how bad the bad side of this is. You see, they say the curse of creativity, but I don't put it like that. It's something going on with the brain. It's why people say, you know, some of the things in this world, some of the people that were inventors and people that did all the things they did, they were people with mental issues. They say genius comes from mental issues. And some ways I agree with that. But you know, I agree with it in some ways, but it's like, I think a genius is just someone that knows a lot of stuff, someone that was willing to be different among the masses and was willing to go a different way from everyone else. You know, I don't think they're special. They're just a unique person. And the way I see it is, every single person here is unique in a sense of they are the only ones that have ever existed here. There's never going to be another me. There's never going to be another you, in the terms of the way you look, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you act, you know, the way that you do things, all that stuff. But really, if you really think about it, all of us are really all the same. Like, we're really not, you know, we're different in small, minute ways, but do we not all bleed red? Are we all not flesh, blood, and bone? You know, do we all not need food, water, shelter? If it's cold, clothing, blankets, you know, we all need the same stuff. So none of us are special, but we are unique in a sense of looking at each other as individuals. But really, all in all, we're all just one thing. And I know this might seem off topic, but you see, here's how I see this lately. We have become, I think, so prideful today that people don't want to just put it out there and say, look, all that I'm really looking for is love is to be loved and to be appreciated here and have something to do while I'm alive. I think that is the bare bone of what it comes down to. And I think this is why so many people, now this is just one part of it. I'm not saying overall why everyone is like this, because I could never give an answer like that. It's all up to interpretation to the person that's listening. I can't say how it's going to go or what people think and all this. I'm just telling you my point of view. But, you know, I'll be honest. All that I want to be appreciated. I want to be loved, and I want to have something to do in my life. You know, I'm just not into anything else. You know, I look around, and I have been on the internet lately, and there is like nothing at all to watch. Like nobody, like everything that I see is something that I've already seen before 101 times. It's people talking about either fear mongering or what's going on with America and Russia, or everything's gonna collapse, or it's just all these things that I don't see really anybody. And this is another thing that is really depressing. I don't see too many people that are at all. I like hardly see it at all. I don't even really know anybody that I can say that I know of off the top of my head to even say this. I don't see anyone that is thinking outside of the box of the norms of how things are, and are kind of making their own thing, that are kind of having a place where they can say, look, here's a place where you can come if you're looking for community, or if you're looking to be into artistical things, or you're looking to grow things, or you're looking to do this or that. There's really no place for people to go anymore, because there's nobody that really has a vision for anything anymore. It just seems like everybody is just blaming one another, and this is what it is. This is what it really is. See, I'm just cutting right to the chase here. I'm just going right to the heart of the matter, because this is what it really is, and this is how I see it. And I know a lot of other people, they see it like this, but they're just scared to call it out maybe. And I don't like talking about it either. I really don't, because I'm in no position to really judge or say anything about anybody, and that's not what I'm doing in this video. It's like I'm only focusing on good things. I'm only focusing on healthy things. I'm only focusing on things that will bring me some kind of peace of mind, something that it will give me a reason to wake up in the morning to do something. That's like the only thing I'm focused on. All this other stuff is just completely irrelevant to me anymore, and it just stresses me out listening to it. And this is what most people are doing. It's like not too many people have something going that is for the welfare of themselves and others, to create a like-minded community of where people can go to, you know, if you have to, say, look, man, I need somebody to talk to. I need someone to just be here right now to frickin', you know, maybe just sit there with me or anything. It's like everybody talks about how lonely we are, but it's like there's nobody that is willing to really say, look, I'm looking for this or this, and this is lacking in my life, and this is happening, and I'm going through this, because we have this pride wall up. We can't let that down. And until we do that, we're never going to have any peace of mind. We're never going to have any kind of... And see, I don't want to start talking about this too much because this is not the reason that I made this video. I don't want to start sitting here getting into things and saying, well, it should be this way, or it should be that way, or people should think like this or do this. Listen, I can't even handle that burden. It's too much for me to get involved too much with too many things. My brain just can't handle it. I cannot handle it as a person. You know, I admit I'm not strong enough. I'm just not strong enough. I just don't have that kind of mentality like some people might have to do certain things. And I admit it. I don't. And it's like when you try to live by this standard of how you should be, or oh, well, maybe you didn't do enough for yourself, or you didn't do enough. It's very hard for me to describe this. I'm doing my best here, but I'm failing at describing this how I would really want to describe. This is not how I'm going for to describe what I mean here. But it's my mind. I start having this when this comes, when this depression and this cloud looms over me, and I'm just not thinking. I'm not really thinking right. It's very hazy. I'm down and I just don't feel right. You know, it's something that my brain is doing, and I'm not in denial of that. You know, I do have mental issues. I won't lie, I do. But I'm not nuts. You know, I'm not out of my mind. I still know what I'm doing, but my brain just does things that I can't help from happening. And if I do something that throws me off of the bandwagon, it's very hard for me to get back onto the bandwagon. It's like when you cross a line in life. I feel like I have crossed a line that I don't think that I can come back from. That's how it feels when I get like this. I feel like I crossed a line that I cannot step back from, and I say, oh my gosh, how did I cross this line? How did I let myself get here? Did I talk myself into it? You know, did I put myself here? You know, maybe I talked this hole for myself. Maybe I talked too much. Maybe I was wrong about a lot of things. And you know what? Even as I'm speaking in this video, I even said this before. Life is always changing, and I'm continually finding myself to say, you were wrong about this thing. You were wrong about what you were thinking and what you were talking. It seems like my words always come back to bite me in the ass somehow. And they do. They always come back to bite me in the ass. And I was watching this video with Mooji, some guy named Mooji, where he was talking about how, you know, instead of saying things like, I'm going to love or hate, how can you not do either one of them? You see what I'm saying? How can we just simply be there? You know, be here. How can I simply just be what I'm going to be and not be the best me or the worst me? Just be me, you know, just be myself, to be there in the moment right now. And I'm not making it any kind of, I'm not saying it in any kind of, you know, spiritual sense or any label. I'm just simply saying, how can I be in this moment all the time without thinking about all this stuff that the mind brings and what life is throwing at us. It's almost like our mind is a projector that is just constantly being fed all of these things that we don't need to be feeding our mind, yet we're feeding our mind with it. I'm feeding my mind with it. See, I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for me. But my brain can't tell me. I have trouble saying, look, these are just thoughts that you're thinking. You know, you're believing your thoughts. You're believing the worry. You're believing the feeling sorry for. You're believing the obsessive compulsiveness that's going on. I'm believing it, but I know that it's bull. But my mind cannot tell me that. There is something with me that I cannot explain to people. There's no way that I could ever explain it to a person, because you would literally have to be in my brain to understand what I mean by this. It's like the thoughts that you're thinking, you know that they're thoughts. I know that they're thoughts, and I know that they're not real. They're just thoughts. And it's like a projector that's projecting these thoughts, and I'm thinking of them, and I'm crying about them, and I'm worrying about them, and I'm thinking about them, and I'm saying, okay, Nate, you know that these are thoughts. You know that these are thoughts. And you know that life is how life is. You know that you didn't make it like this. You see, I know that I didn't make it like this. I'm not in control of all this. I'm only in control of my own life and my own decisions. But yet I somehow feel like I'm supposed to be helping this thing. Like I'm somehow supposed to be stopping this person from hurting this person. Or I'm somehow supposed to be saving people from them doing something really dumb to themselves or other people. Like I feel like I'm supposed to have compassion on everybody. And even though I do, it becomes this thing where my mind is trying to live up to a standard that is impossible. I literally cannot live up to it. It's impossible. Yet I sit and I catastrophize over it. I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, look, Nate, stop this. You know, this is insanity. I cannot take on the entire world. I cannot help the entire world, and I can't even see. The thing is, I'm not even trying to help people necessarily. It's just, I just want to get through life as healthy and as best as I can until the day that I go. That's all that I want to do. And I want to have something to live for, where I'm not hurting anybody, I'm not hurting animals, I'm not causing destruction. I want to go out as graceful and as with much as dignity, and kind of like I said in a video from before, losing with dignity, See, because I know that there is no such thing as winning. You see, winning is a delusion in my head. Winning, I don't go for this winning stuff, because I don't want to win. I don't want to be better than somebody. I don't care about those things no more. You see, it's almost like my ego and my pride has been almost completely wiped out. And my brain doesn't know how to handle that. My brain, because I have been deconditioning myself from all that. So my brain is somehow trying to make up for those things, if that makes sense. And because when you've been doing something for so long, year after year after year, and you're telling yourself, I'm not going to live that way anymore, or I'm not going to think that way anymore. See, your brain will do whatever it can to hold on to those things, to be attached to those things, to say, oh no, I still need that. I still need that over and over. And it's like your brain is playing tricks on you. But at the same time, you're like, I don't want this in my life. I don't need this in my life, but yet my brain is desperately trying to bring it back. It won't let it go. And I have heard stories from, this is how I honestly feel. I feel like I have been so broken and so torn apart, and I have just seen behind the veil of everything in this world. I have heard people having experiences like this. I have heard stories like Sadhguru, Osho, J. Krishnamurti. I don't know for sure if J. Krishnamurti had one of these, but U.G. Krishnamurti had this happen where they talked about how they went through this experience of like they were going insane and losing their mind, and they got sick, their bodies got sick, and they just felt like the world was crumbling and everything was breaking down and nothing made sense. And they were absolutely confused, and it was just all these things were coming at one time, and they had no idea what was happening. That's kind of what I felt like I have been going through the last couple weeks of my life. I feel like I am going through this, I don't know if I want to say transition, but I feel like I feel like I was a caterpillar that, and I'm still going through it as I speak, but I feel like a metamorphosis is taking place. Some kind of weird metamorphosis is taking place. Like I was a caterpillar that had all these conditionings and all these thoughts that I had to be this way and I had to live like this. And if I didn't say this or this thing, or if I don't do this, and just all these things that the average person that we all think, it's like I was that caterpillar and I'm dying and I'm dead and I'm turning into a butterfly, but I have not started to fly yet. I'm still on the ground trying to fly, if that makes sense. Now, and when I say if I feel like a butterfly that's flying, that doesn't mean, see, the reason I didn't want to really use this is because it doesn't mean that I'm saying I'm better than another person or I made it or something, that I'm flying above everybody. That's not the way that I am going forward to. It just feels like I am in the process of dying before I die. That's the only way I can explain it. And I just, if you could just be me for these last 2 weeks, and you could understand, or you could be in my body and you could have felt what I felt, and you could have had the same thoughts that I have been having. It's like when I look at people, I can see their pride. I can see their pain. I can see the things that they're hiding. I can see, it's like I can see through them. It's very hard to describe. It's like I just know. It's like I know that I know that I know, and I know how people will think. Some people will say, oh yeah, well, you really did. You did go crazy. You really did lose your mind. And listen, maybe I am. Maybe I am losing my mind, and maybe I am going crazy by the world's standards, but yet I know how insane some of these things are that we're doing all the time. I know. When you know, you know. But see, here's the thing though. Here's the other weird thing. And I don't want to get too deep into what I'm saying here, because there isn't a label I can put on it. I can't tell you that I am good or I am bad. I just know that I'm still alive, I'm still living, I'm still here, but it's almost like I'm preparing for something to happen in my life. I can't explain it. It's like it's either going to be my death, or it's going to be something that happens that I'm not expecting to happen. And I don't know, I could be wrong by saying this, but it's just a feeling that I'm getting. I don't know how to describe it. And I lost train of thought where I was going, but it's okay. Because see, this is what I want to talk about. I want to put this out there, and I want to tell people this. This is something that is going to sound very strange, but please take heed to what I'm saying here. I am telling people right now, there is nobody else that is going to tell you this out here. Nobody. When we are talking about knowledge and wisdom and philosophy, let me tell you something. These things are not what people think that they are. And then when people talk about truth, what is truth? Let me tell you something. We were not intended to know too much. The human brain cannot handle it. I'm telling you firsthand, this is my testimony. I have been looking into so many things. I have obsessively, compulsively been looking into knowledge and philosophy and wisdom and all these things. And what started it off for me was when I read the book of Ecclesiastes. And even back then, reading that book did something to me that I can't describe. It kind of just ripped my world in half. It showed me, it talks about vanity, and then there's a time for everything. And, Solomon, he had everything in the world. He had everything. Everything under the sun he had as a person. Whether you believe it or not, whether you believe he was a real figure or not, that doesn't matter to me. It's just me describing the parable and the book and what the book is saying. This man had everything under the sun. He had the best wine you could get. He had as many women as he wanted to get. He had all the palaces. He had all the fields that he could harvest food. He had probably all the best blacksmiths, and if there was blacksmiths back then. But he had everything. Everything. He had the best foods at that time. He just had everything that you could possibly have under the sun. Yet he was miserable, and he said, "This is vanity." Now, if you ask me what was missing in his life, this is just from my experience. What is missing in his life, because I can't speak for Solomon in the Bible. I can't speak for him. I'm not him. I'm me. I'm this vessel right here. But what is missing, what I think was missing, was people to just sit there with him and say, "Look, I am here. I am here with you." Maybe he was missing some kind of community aspect where he could have people that would just sit there and just maybe in silence or not giving any kind of feedback at all. Not saying, oh, well, maybe you should do this or you should do that, or hey, let's go do this or let's go do this, or no, just simply sit there with a human being. Just simply sit there with them. And see, why am I saying this? Why am I saying this to people? See, look, this is very, very weird. I can't explain this to people. It's going to be very hard for me to explain this on here. The best way I can describe it is sometimes I really, really think that I have this kind of form of autism where, and I really do think I might be slightly autistic. I really, really do, because I have a lot of the symptoms of that too. I'm not saying that I am that. I'm just saying I have a lot of the things that how people are that have it. Some people you can't notice have stuff like this, but I'm giving you the best example that I can give you, because I can only give you examples. But I'm kind of this person where I need intimacy with people. I need pure intimacy. I need agape love. I need a love that is, it doesn't matter see, it's very hard for me to describe. It's really, really hard to describe. I can't put my finger on this. This is what is so irritating. You see, this is why I say I get very angry and agitated very easy, because I can't explain it the way that I want to explain it. But it's like all that I ever wanted was to be with people. Like people that, see, and this is another strange thing. This is going to sound very strange. Yes, I care for my family, and I love them. I care for my mom. I care for my brother. I care for my family. But I'm very strange. It's like this is for people that are not in my family that I'm speaking of here. I wanted to have people that I could just sit there with, and we could just literally sit there with each other. It might sound kind of weird, but just literally sit there in a circle and stare at each other, or lay on a couch and put our arms around each other. And just be there in the moment. Just be there in the moment and feel that and feel that. And see, this is a side of me. This is a side of me. This is not all of me. This is just a part of me. I just simply want to sit there and be in the presence of another human and just reflect on them being there with me. That's it. That's it. I don't want all this extra stuff that goes into it, like we hear everywhere on the internet, on TV. Oh, you have to be a strong man. You know, you have to put on something to show something. You have to be this prideful way to show people that you're something. I don't care about any of that. That means nothing to me. Nothing at all. And this is what I think agape love means. It's a love. It's not of the mentality of this world. It is something that it comes from the parts of us that we don't want to show other people, because we've been so trained to think that we need to hide that, or we can't express that, or we can't be that around other people. Oh no, you can't tell another brother that you love him. You can't say, listen, there's this guy that plays on X-Men. He plays Magneto. He said people in Britain When you get on a bus in a certain part of Britain, men call each other love. They call each other love. But everybody's ashamed of that. You see, everybody in America would be ashamed of that, right? You know, what if you would go up to a man in America and go, "Hey, love, where can I take you? Where can I take you, love? Where can I take you today?" You see, we don't know that here. We don't know that here. And the reason that I might get angry, or I might get upset, or I might get filled with this fire in me of this like compassionate fire is because we have literally ran from innocence. We have ran from our own innocence. We have literally, if you watch the video, A Return to Innocence by Sigma, I think it is, or Stigma. I forget what the name is of the girl that sings it, but we have been putting up this pride barrier for so long, and we have been living this life where we have to be on the side of something. You know, it has to be me versus them, or us versus them, or all these things. And like I said, that should only be the only reason that we should have something like that. Like I wrote in one of my things on my community page, is we should use that for fair sport, and fair sport only. We should not be bringing this in real life. We should not be out hunting another brother in the name of pride to kill him, to kill our own brother, like Cain killed Abel in the Bible. There are people out here that are literally hunting their own brothers, hunting their own flesh and blood to kill them over pride, money. This absolutely disgusts me to my core. It makes me, I weep for these men. I weep for people like this because I see how disgusting it is. My blood literally runs cold for people like this when I think of how they have lost their way, and they have lost their innocence. They went off onto this road. They've gotten to this place of such violence and cruelty and corruption. And I say, my God, we do not have to be like this while we're here. We don't have to live this way. And this is why, as bad, the only way that I can say it is, I want to go to prepare me. I swear to goodness, if I have the strength, I'm talking about if I have the physical strength, if I have the mental strength to do this, I want to go to prepare me a place to where I can make it the way that I want it to be, that I know that it should be for myself. You see, because I can't find it out here. I'm looking and I'm not hearing anybody speaking about anything like this. I feel like I am the only one that is speaking about these things that I'm speaking about. And these things that I'm speaking about, this is not just me talking and just throwing ideas out there. I really, really mean this. Like, I really mean the things that I say, but I'm not trying to put a standard on my life. Like it's going to happen or it's all going to happen soon. I can't think like that because I don't know if or when, and I'm kind of in the blind with this right now, and that's discouraging because I'm in the blind. I don't really know where I'm going or what's going to happen in the years to come, and I didn't even describe this right, how I'm going forward to describe to people. It's just, this thing is so simple. It's so simple and it's so easy and it is so original and it is so it's just those things. But it's like we are making it hard on ourselves here. We are making this thing hard in the name of this getting ahead of other people, in the name of this pride thing, in the name of I am better, I'm making more money. You know, look at the clothes I'm wearing. You know, I just bought these $200 pair of Jordans, so look at me. You know, look at me. Ain't I something because I went to work for a week to buy these shoes? You see, those kinds of things do not mean anything to me no more. They have no value at all to me. It's material stuff. It's things. See, my ego, what I'm doing is I'm losing my ego. And I'm losing my pride here completely. It's evaporating from me. And I don't want it. I don't want it anymore. See, there was a time where I did want it because my metaphorical heart, I didn't want to give those things up. I was still desiring them, and I was still after them, and I was still trying to put on for others to say, oh, well, look at me. I'm doing better. Look at what I got on. Just all the things that come with pride and thinking that we're somehow getting ahead of one another. And all we're doing is we are destroying one another. We are crippling one another. We are literally discouraging one another. This is not love, man. This is not agape love. This is some kind of worldly desire that we call love. It's not love. It's not love. And here's what I believe, and I believe this with every fiber of my being as a person. The reason that I believe in love, the reason that I believe in tried and true love is because I am it. I am love itself. Now, it might not seem because I can get brash and I can get angry and I can curse and I can do all these things because, see, the reason that I get upset, the reason that I get that way is because I'm understanding what is going on as things are taking place. I understand where these thoughts and this pride and this ego and this purpose-driven life and thinking you got to get ahead, I see where that is taking humans, and it's all that it leads to. I said this before. All that it leads to is each individual being on their own blood-soaked throne. That's all that it leads to. But we don't see that. See, the world, we have a blind spot in our mind. We have not yet broke down that side of us. Both sides. We have not yet broke down the conditionings and the ways that we think and the TV shows we've been watching and the movies and just everything that you can think of. And I'm not saying that I don't watch these things myself once in a blue moon, but it's nowhere near like I used to. It's very seldom where I will watch an older clip of something or that'll come up because I have deconditioned my mind. I have deconditioned my brain. You know, it's not something that is important. It's not something that means anything anymore. It has no substance to me. And this is another reason why I get so depressed and I get in these things that I get in because I have not arrived where I am supposed to be yet. And I am going through this turmoil. I am going through this phase that there's no way that I could describe it in a video to anybody. It's just too hard to describe. You know, it's It's almost like a feeling of death before I die. I'm literally feeling like I'm dying before I die. That's the only way I can describe it. But then again, at the same time, when I look at people, when I look at brothers and sisters, and I look at people, I can see right when I look at them, it's like I can just see their aura. I can literally sense their energy. I can see it seeping off of them. It's like they're glowing with they're either glowing with compassion, or they're glowing with hatred, or they're glowing with bitterness, or they're glowing with pride, or they're glowing with just something that they might be acting like they're okay, or they're putting on something. I can sense that right away. And see, there's no need to be scared of that I can sense it. It's the fact that I actually do care. I actually do, deep down in me, I actually do love them. You see what I'm saying? And I always been like this. Ever since I came out of my mother's womb, I always loved people. I always wanted to be with them and be a part of them. And I was jealous of them because I wanted to kind of dive into them and be a part of them. This is how I always was. But yet, the thing that drove me away from that was TV, was a lot of the music that we hear, was movies, was what Hollywood and what these coaching, people, and just these men telling you how to go on a date and telling you how to live. And it's all wrong to me. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. And I see a lot of people, they still watch these things. They still believe that they have to be that way. They're still, their mind is still playing this trick with them, and they're thinking that they gotta be a certain way for people and the world. And listen, I'm telling you, that is a worldly, lustful love. That is not a pure love. That is not an honest love. That is not a love that will say, look, I don't even care if you hate me. I don't care if you wish death upon me. I don't care if you somehow look at me and there's something about me that you don't like. I still love you. I still forgive you because I know how we are. I just know that I know, these things. And I don't know. I don't want to get too deep because, like I said, I have to keep something for myself. I can't just give it all out. You see what I'm saying? I can't do that. This is another thing that I'm learning. I have to keep some things to myself. I can't just throw it all out there because it's almost like you're just, you can give 99% of you, but you got to keep a little percentage there to rekindle, something if need be in future time. But anyway, look, I know this might sound cliche or it might sound weird to people, but I don't know how else to describe it. I really, really don't. It's very hard for me to describe these things, what I mean. But it's just, how can I say this? It's kind of like, even though I'm in the world, I'm not of the world anymore. It's, even though I appreciate good food and I appreciate the things that I have, and I appreciate having things that I need, it's just like I'm dead to so many things here. And to explain the reason why I'm like that, or I think like that, or what has brought me to that point is I can't explain in a video. It's just too hard to do. I can't explain it in one video. It would take me a lot of time, but maybe it's not meant to do that. You know, maybe it's not meant to do a series on, because you can't. In order to explain this, it has nothing to do with numbers. It has nothing to do with oh, well, you know, I feel like I achieved something, or somehow I'm doing so much better now and I got this. Because see, this is the problem with pride, is it always thinks that it got it and it doesn't have it. See, this is what me as a man, right when I say that I got this, or, you know, oh, well, everything's fine now and I'm on my high horse and you know, everything's cool and nothing's gonna, you know, see, right when I think I got it, that's when everything falls apart and goes to hell. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say I don't have it. I don't got this. You see what I'm saying? I don't have this. You know, I'd rather stay at ground level than to climb up the mountain again, because I realize there's nothing at the top of the mountain. It's just the top of the mountain. That's all. And I would rather just stay on the ground now. You know, I don't want to climb and I don't want to swim to the bottom of the ocean. I just want to stay here and just stay now and just simply be. That's it. I don't care to think that I'm getting ahead or I'm falling behind or I did something better for the world or worse for the world. See, this is why I resonate with neutralism. Neutralism is almost like the ultimate balance in life that you want, but it doesn't mean that you're balanced, but it's still something that you're willing to say to yourself in your mind, is that I just want to be balanced. That's it. I don't want to think that I'm ahead of people or I'm behind. I don't want to think I'm better or worse, or I'm on a high pedestal, or I'm down here in the dungeon. I'm on the dark side or the bright side of things. I don't care about that. It has nothing for me anymore. It has no substance. It has no say over my life or the essence of what makes this thing, all this stuff. It doesn't matter. Do you think the grass blades care about that? Do you think the birds care about that? Do you think the trees care about that? Do you think that our heart and our lungs and our brain cares about that? It doesn't care. It doesn't care about those things. It's a concept that we have created for ourselves. And this concept, this conditioned concept in my mind, is what keeps making me get back into this place I get back into. And I just really, really hope that it's just some kind of, I don't know. I don't know what to call it. I don't even know what to say anymore, because like I said, I'm not trying to save myself, but I'm not trying to jump off into the deep end either. So basically, it's just saying, okay, well, it is what it is now, and let it go. And even trying or attempting to end a video somehow, there is no end and there is no beginning. It just is what it is, and it's going how it's going. I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's just, I have no room for denial in my life. I have no room for being dishonest. I have no room for trying to be something that I'm not, or any of those things anymore. My energy is so past that And it doesn't mean I'm getting ahead. It's just my energy is not there anymore. I just don't care about these things, and I can't act like I do. I can't act like I care about things that have no relevance in my life, or I can't act like I'm excited about something that I'm not excited about and stuff. You know, I have just reached this critical mass where if I don't want to smile, I'm not going to smile. If I want to frown, I'm going to frown. If I'm depressed, then I'm going to say I'm depressed. If I'm having a shitty day and I had a shitty month, then I'm going to say, okay, I had a shitty month. But it's the mind. It's the mind doing something. It's the brain doing something. And let me tell you, if I knew of a way myself, if I knew that I had the keys to the knowledge to make some kind of medicinal or plant-based herb or something that I could give to people and it could help them live a well-balanced life to where they could do what they got to do, cause as least suffering as possible, and there was a way to do that, I would literally dedicate my life to that. But I just don't know. I'm in the blind here, you know. I'm just another person. I'm just another person. But I think that I think differently from a lot of the rest of the world. But it doesn't make me anything. It doesn't make me anything. It's just I think different and I see things differently. And my approach on this is, it's not an approach, it's simply a way that I know that I want to live for myself. Because I already played this out too many times. I have already been, I've went through this so many times over and over and over. It's so repetitive, and I'm just learning the only way that it is going to happen, if anything happens. But I don't want to put that pressure on myself. You see, it's almost like it's a conundrum, because I'm saying, well, if you want it to be the way that you want it to be, you're going to have to make it happen. But sometimes I don't know if I can. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if I have the ability to even do that sometimes. And having to say that, then it makes you look like, you know, you're weak, or you're never going to do it, or it's never going to get done because you're not even for sure of yourself. But it's just being honest. You know what I'm saying? I would rather be honest and take baby steps instead of trying too much or saying that I got this or it's gonna happen, you know, because if I get cocky, then I know how things go too. I get too far ahead of myself. I'm thinking about it too much, and that's not good either. So, and this is simply for the time that I am alive. You know, I'm talking about the remainder of my life. I don't want to live my life doing something that I do not want to do, or going someplace that I hate going every day. That is lunacy. That is insanity. That is not the way that I want to live. And I'm almost telling myself I won't do that. But at the same time, I might have to do some things that I don't want to do in order to get to the place where I know that I want to go for myself. And even that is discouraging. That is hard to even say, because then I feel like I'm being fake. I feel like I'm doing something I don't really want to do. And I feel like I'm faking it to make it, kind of. But that's not what I'm doing. That's just what my brain's telling me. You know, my brain is bullshitting me into thinking these things that I know ain't even true, but it just keeps obsessively thinking and thinking and thinking. And it's that on top of depression, and that on top of not having things the way I want it, and then having to worry about my financial situation right now. And it's just, my brain just can't handle it. I just can't handle all this shit. I don't know how else to say it. And it, it's a very kind of sinking feeling, because then you tell yourself, well, who really cares? And see, I've already done this. I've already done this so many times. I know that there is not the help needed for me that I need for myself, because when you go into rehabs or halfway houses, it's just the same thing. All they do is they say, well, you got to get a job. And then they make you go to these NA and AA meetings. It doesn't work for me. That is not a resolution to my lifestyle. Because I know I did this a couple times before, and I know where it goes, and I know why people are relapsing. I know why people are dying. I know why they have no hope in anything. And I don't, like I said, I don't like using the word hope, because hope is even an illusion. It's having a lifestyle to live for, living the way that you really want to live with other like-minded beings. And that, if you can find that, I am telling you right now, do not ever take something like that for granted. If you find someone that you have a couple things that you like doing together, and you might get bored here and there, it might not work out all the time, who cares? That's what happens. I'm telling you, if you do know someone like that or people like that, do not ever take that for granted. If you take that for granted, you are going to lose everything. Everything. Because you're going to end up by yourself. You're going to end up alone somewhere. You're going to end up saying, oh man, I wish I would have just, been thankful for that. I wish I would have just let that be enough. I wish that I would have just, waited a little bit for the next time or something. I'm telling you, when you cross a certain line in life, I know what it is to have too much knowledge and wisdom and too much pressure and too much caring and too much compassion and too much worry and too much all these things. I know what all that is like. I know it more than probably most people, because I know that a lot of the world, they're not going to get out of the stuck situations that they might be in. They don't want to see any other way. You see what I'm saying? But I know for myself that the ways that other people might think is the way, I know for myself that is not the way for me. And I was going to talk about something else before I ended this video, but I don't remember what it was, so maybe I should just stop anyway, because I didn't really want to do this long of a video. So yeah, that's just what it is right now. I don't know. I have no idea where these videos or this platform or any of this, I don't even want to call it that. I don't even know where this is going for me at all. I have no idea. But I know it all comes down to, without a homestead, without the bare necessities of life, all the other stuff doesn't really mean anything at all to me. It's like all that I ask is for the most basic, yet that structure that once it comes together, the only way that it can be broken is by an accident or death. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what kind of person I am as a person. You know, I know that I am loyal unto myself, and I am loving towards someone that is loving to me. And even if they don't, I still love them, but it's almost like, look, I gotta go my separate way. You see, I gotta go and do my own thing. I can't be around this nonsense. I can't be around this calamity. I can't be around this ignorance, this bloodshed mentality, and this pride, and this just sense of, oh, well, come on, we gotta go prove this and all these things. It's just not there with me anymore. That side of me has died. There might be a tiny, tiny, tiny piece there to remind me and to bring things up, or it might seem like I'm going back to some of those things, but I can promise that right now, the way that my brain and the way that I am, like most of those things are dead to me. It just doesn't play a role in my life at all, besides remembering what these things did and remembering where it led me. So I don't know. I'm not explaining this. Like I said, I'm not explaining this the way I want to explain it. And I'm simply venting. That's all I'm doing. I'm venting. I'm speaking. I'm talking. And that's all that it is. I'm just talking and venting and speaking, and that's it. And it's just a video. It's just a video for me to reflect. And like I said, my intentions, even if I make videos that may seem dark and gloomy or depressing or suicidal or whatever, like whatever word whatever wants to put there, it's my intentions are not for that. My motives are not for anything malicious. They're not for cruel intentions. It's not to get people more confused or more lonely or more agitated or more hateful or more bitter. It's not to do any of those things. That is never, ever, ever my motive or intention or the reason why I do what I do. It's just simply to vent. It's just simply to get all this crap off my mind and get it off my chest. Because this is what happens with me. You see, this is why I know that I'm still holding on to that little bit of pride myself, because I've been holding on to this for like 2 weeks now. I wouldn't talk about this for 2 weeks because I was scared to just get it out. I was scared to talk about it and just put it out there for the world to hear, you see. And this is what I know goes on in the minds of men and women. It's this pride barrier. It's this thing where we cannot let it down. We cannot get it out of our system completely and totally and absolute, so that we can all come together for a just cause, that we can all come together to help one another. We see, if you really, really want to get right to the heart of the matter, is if we could all see this, we would not need money. We would not need paperwork. We would not need bills or any of that. We could just help one another live and get involved when things need done. There wouldn't be no need for this thing that we have set up, even though it is the way that it is right now. We never needed it to be like this. You see, and I'm sorry to say, anybody that believes in this thing with, like our founding fathers and stuff, listen, they made a mistake when they made the system with money and all that. They made a mistake there. They made a big mistake. And I'm sure they could have never foretold what this was going to bring about for people like me and a lot of other people. But let's just get honest. They made a mistake. Now, I know this is how it has to be. I'm thankful for a lot of this, but it's not right. It is not. Like I said, when you're talking about a agape love, we're not talking about how this is set up right now. This is not love. This is not true love. This is not true partnership. This is not true intimacy and honesty. It's everything but that. It's every man for himself in the way that we have things right now. And it's just, to me, it is so wrong. It's so wrong to me. It's on another frequency besides what I have, my energy. It doesn't align with what I know to be how I think we should have lived here. I don't think this should have ever been like this. And I know this might sound crazy to some people, but it's just the truth of what I'm speaking about. I'm not talking about an ultimate truth. I'm just talking about what I'm speaking about right now. Because in a world with no fear, in a world with no mistrust, we don't need these things. We don't need these things. You see? If we trusted one another and we helped one another and we, built our own places and we planted our own food and we did all this stuff, we would not need money. We would not need paperwork. We would not need all those things. And I know this is very hard for the way that all this is set up for people to understand what I mean. But you see, true love does not hide. True love is not in fear. True love expresses and is honest and gets right to the point and holds people accountable and disciplines itself and has compassion. You see, that's what true love means. I'm not talking about this desiring love or this worldly love that people talk about, because that is just a word people are using to try to fit into somewhere. That love, that is a fake love. That is not true love, because if we actually loved, then we would not lock our doors. We would not look at our neighbor like, oh, there's somebody different. You see, we would look at every person like, that's my brother. Oh, this person coming down the street. Oh, is that a woman? Oh, well, that's my sister or mother. Oh, here comes this guy. Okay, well, that's my brother. That's my father. See, we don't look at people like that. We look at people like strangers. We look at people like they're someone we don't know, so we can't trust them. And this mentality is the fabric of why everything is wrong and why things are the way they are. And we need more people. If we don't have more people thinking like this, then we are never going to be like this. If we don't have people thinking like this, then we are never going to be like this. It's never going to happen for a small minority of people, because it has to start off small. It can't just turn into one big thing overnight. It has to be something that is small. It has to be a mustard seed that grows into a mountain if we want to stop living like this. I'm not trying to be a savior here. I'm not trying to be some messiah or some guy saying that I can help the world. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if we want to live a way outside of this, then we have to start thinking differently. If we don't start thinking differently, then we are never going to be able to do anything different from what we're doing. And we're going to keep talking about it, and we're going to keep complaining about it over and over and over again. And I am just at a point where I almost can't even do it anymore. I have no energy to do it anymore. I'm not saying that I won't talk about it, but it just got to that point with me. It's to the point of no return. It's to the point of implosion. I mean, if you just watch TV and you go on the internet and you watch the news, just look at how messed up all this is. It's right there in our faces. It's right there in our faces. But it's almost like we're addicted to it. It's almost like we cannot break the chain because we don't want to let our pride down. We don't want to let our pride down. We don't want to let this structure that we have built, knowing it doesn't work, we can't let it go and do something different. You know, we can't have a world where we don't need all those things, where we can just help one another, be there for one another, and we can have abundance. We can actually do this. We could actually do this if we want to. It's just how many people are going to spread this to other people and are going to talk about it and are going to get it out there to other people. If we don't do that, then it's never going to happen, and it's never going to come into fruition at all because there's not enough people doing it. And I don't know. I don't know where to go from this point. I'm simply speaking it. I'm just simply speaking it into existence. Because if I don't talk about it, then I know that it's really not going to happen. If I keep it inside or I keep holding on to it for myself, then nothing's really ever going to come of it. Because I'm going to let the fear and I'm going to let the paranoia and the thoughts and all that stuff, you know, consume what it is that I was really going for in the first place. I just kind of fell off of the horse here a little bit. And that's what happens with me. You know, it's life. But I know for myself, I do not want to live this way. I do not want to keep going the way that I'm going. I'm, you know, running out of options here. And for me to say this stuff, it's not fun. It's really not fun. The other side of it is not fun, you know? And there's definitely no way to end this video other than to just end it, because I don't know what to really say as of this point on this topic, at least. So, you know, this is life. This is real, you know. Let the fantasy realm be the fantasy realm. Let reality be reality. That's what I wanted to get into, but I'm sure a lot of people might not even have got this far in the video. I know it seems like I'm blabbing here, but I'm actually saying everything right now, whether we understand this or not. I know that I'm saying everything for myself. But what I wanted to say is we need to keep the fantasy, the movies and the video games and stuff like that. We need to keep that in the fantasy realm and the virtual realm. You know, don't bring those things over into reality. See, we need to learn how to discern reality from fantasy and you know, fiction stuff too, because I think a lot of us, we bring a lot of these things into our real life like they're really real. And really, the only reality is here right now. Like I'm walking and I'm talking and I'm doing a video and I'm speaking. That's reality. That's the only reality that there is. There is no other reality, you know? So don't let that trick you either by thinking that there's something else besides the reality that there really is. And I think this is another problem, is that a lot of people are not in reality. We're not actually right here in reality right now to look at the things that are happening right now. And we keep running away from, we keep being in denial of, we keep saying, oh, the problems will just solve themselves. You know, everything will eventually come together. That's not how it works. That's not how things work at all. So if it isn't us, if it isn't each person taking accountability and responsibility, then this whole thing is going to crumble eventually. So I don't know what else to really say, but that is just the bare bones of what it is. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to let y'all go. I'm talking a little too much here. So thanks for watching. Take care. Everything left, everything right, everything up, everything down, everything round and round to all, you know. It's a roller coaster ride, so stay in the seat as best as you can so you don't fall off of it, I guess. You know, I don't have any advice. I don't have any, you know, I don't have anything to really say or to tell anybody, oh, it'll get better, or it'll, you know, something will happen. You know, that's lying. That's lying to people, you know. And I ain't gonna lie to people. I'm not gonna tell people something just to, you know, tell them or to make it look like it's something that it's not. I'm not gonna do that, you know. I'm not gonna hide behind that facade and that mask anymore. So, all right, I'll let y'all go. Thanks for watching. Later.